I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive.
Well, welcome family and friends. Thank you all for gathering together today and being here to celebrate and to honour Allan's life, affectionately known by you all as BOWDEN. So we're reminded today of the impact that he's had on each and every one of you in this room. As a friend, as a family member, as a father, a grandfather, a brother, an uncle and a good mate. He's certainly one that was well respected throughout his community, as I see by so many of you gathered together today. And I'm sure there are countless stories that each and every one of you could share with us today. My name is Robin Denard, but I am actually a BOWDEN as well. So it is an honour to stand before you today and share some of those beautiful stories of the family and reflect together with you. So BOWDEN's journey through life was marked by his resilience and his determination. From his early days of growing up in Kadina to his last days spent in Riverton, and that facing the challenges with courage that he did throughout his life. So this is a story of perseverance, love and dedication, qualities that continue to inspire each and every one of you. Now, as we honour him together today and we say goodbye, we also support his family, and I know that it is truly comforting to them all to know that there are good friends by their side today to support them along the way. So it is through words and photographs that we're going to take you back on that journey and remind you of times gone past. And yes, it is a rich tapestry of BOWDEN's life today that we'll look back upon. And remember that each of you here have a different part of that journey. Some of you have, as Dot, his sister, has those early childhood memories that go back a long way. There are those that have worked with BOWDEN. There are those that have grown up with him around. Maybe you played footy with him, maybe he was a good friend, but you all have a snippet of his life. You all have different parts of that journey. So let me take you back on a little bit of a journey before family speak. So it was the 18th of May 1936 that Allan Charles BOWDEN was born in Kadina. He passed away on the 13th of May, 5 days short of his 89th birthday, at the age of 88 years, 11 months and 26 days to be precise. With his parents, Alice Pearl, known as Pearl to everyone, and Philip. He was with his older sisters growing up with Dot and Ruth, and their home was in Lipson Avenue in Kadina. Now, Dot told me a few stories about their childhood and what he was like along the way, and the earliest one that she remembered was when she was jealous, when she wanted to go with her dad and uncle to get some feed for the greyhounds. And they were going on the horse and the jink, but instead, Dad took BOWDEN. Well, he was only 2, but that still big sister got upset with that one. Sadly, it was a month after BOWDEN had turned 2 that his father Philip died. With a large family on his mum's side, there were a lot of uncles around when BOWDEN was growing up, a lot of support. He was doted on by his mum Pearl, and whilst also for her, raising a young family would not have been an easy time at all. But good friends and good family got her through. After Sunday school each Sunday, his grandfather would pick them up and take the trip out to the cemetery with the horse and dray, and they'd put flowers on the graves of family members that had passed. Their Uncle Alf had a car, and when he was dating Mavis in the city, Allan and Dot and Ruth got to have a trip with him when they went on holidays down to the city. The girls got the bad seat, as Dot was telling me. They got the dicky seat on the back of the car. And Allan again got that favourite front seat in the front of the car. Art Laffin trained trotters and harness horses. So Allan would go out there and help with the training of the trotters throughout that time as well. He played footy for Kadina. And on finishing high school at Kadina High, BOWDEN started his apprenticeship as a refrigeration mechanic and electrician at Angus and McDonald Tool Shop, moving on to Keith Rawley's Electrical before settling into Kennards and working there from the 25th of May 1964 at the age of 28 until the 30th of June 1995. He retired at the age of 59. And Dot still has a blue-handled screwdriver that he gave John during his first job at Angus and MacDonald. Now, I'm not sure if he acquired that or whether it was a bonus of the job at the time. But Dot still has that blue-handled screwdriver. Now, Bodie was called up to do his national service in the C Company 15th Platoon on the second intake in 1955. He was aged 18. He reported to the Woodside Army Barracks and completed his military training as a 21-year-old on the 20th of May 1957. It was during that time that Bodie bought his first car. Now, he had to get a loan to buy that little Hillman. Now, his mum Pearl was totally against him borrowing money because, as was done in that generation, you never borrowed money for anything. But he got that loan and he got his little Hillman, and that was his transport back and forth to Woodside. But of course, it wasn't all work for Bodie over those years. He met a young Miriam, and they were married on the 22nd of October in 1960. They bought their house and moved into Russell Street, Kadina, not far from the family home. Now, I'm told that over the years there might be a few illegal extensions that have been made to the house without a council approval. But before starting their own family, Bodie and Mim would look after their nephew Daryl. Now, Daryl, you mightn't remember this, but they used to look after you when you were little, and Dot said she'd send you off in these beautiful, bright, clean clothes, only to be returned with stained jelly bean stains all over your clothes when you returned. It was 3 years after marrying, Bodie and Mim started their own family with Andrew, Michelle, Brett and Paul, and the family was complete. Pearl, their nan, would ride her bike around the corner to babysit the kids while Bodie and Mim went out for a time. There'd be trips away in the school holidays in May, and they'd be off fishing on the beaches or the rivers, and the little caravan that could fit all of them, 2 sets of bunks and a table that pulled out to a bed. Sundays sailing at Wallaroo Sailing Club. Mim would have lunch ready to be served out the back of the car. Bodie went from sailing boats and later to fishing boats to go out further. Andrew sailed with him a bit from the Heron boat. They'd take the kids up to the jetty when they were young, and in later years it was grandchildren he'd take up to the jetty to go crabbing. The family has certainly grown for Bodie and Mim over the years, not only with their 4 children, but also with the inclusion of Mignon, Tony and Gerda. And then he became pa to many as well, and he's about to become great pa to even more later in this year as more great-grandchildren arrive. His retirement years were at home. Bodie would love a chat with each and every one of you at any time he could. My brother Craig told me that he would often go into Kadina Woolies and there'd be Bodie waiting at the door ready for a chat, and they'd stop and have a good chat out the front of the store. He did a few trips around Australia and different places, camping along the way with mates. His motorbikes, of course, have been a very big part, and I know there'd be many of you from that. It was once Paul got his motorbike, he had a motorbike as a young man, and then once Paul bought his motorcycle, his dad bought it from him, a BMW 650, and then it was on to a touring BMW 1000cc. As he got older, Bodie found it harder to get his leg over the bike, so he moved on to that Suzuki 650 Bergman, or a scooter as some would call it, but it wasn't really a scooter. With mates of the motorbike club, they'd do their regular Wednesday trips, short and long trips, whether it was a ride to the Barossa, to Clare, or to the bottom of the peninsula, and many more places together with mates. Bodie only stopped riding a few years ago after a fall. But then came the gopher. Now, he could still get around on that gopher. He still had a motorbike as such, or a motor of some sort. And in later years, living in Riverton for the past 2 years, he could get out on his gopher and he could go to the shop. He could go and have a coffee with some. And I'm told that you had to look out for that rose bush when he was reversing. Andrew, wasn't that what you told me? That you'd had a coffee together and then he'd ride off down the middle of the road of Riverton and back to his house. Now, as he found it harder and harder to get around at home. That is why he moved into having more care. And he said to the family, I think you'd better start looking for that respite stuff. I think I need it. And he did. But he had a wonderful home there at Riverton at Willara, at Gilbert Valley. He did say to Dot that he didn't want to go to any aged care home that was in Woodside because he remembered how cold it was in Woodside when he was doing his national service. Now, as I spoke about that gopher, he still had his trips to the pub. He still had that carton of beer. He just had to rework it as to how he could get it home. So if you broke the carton down and you put a 6-pack in your front basket, 2 in the back basket and 1 by your feet, you can get the whole carton home. And he worked out a way. So ingenious, always looking for a way around many things in life. And Bodie was an amazing man who leaves beautiful memories for you all. So his family further described him to me as a provider of the family, independent, and he enjoyed his time with his mates and with his family. So it is now that I'm going to ask Brett, his son, to come forward, and he's going to speak, and then I think Elka's going to come and read a poem as well. You got Elka's poem?
Yeah, I do. It's not going to stay there by itself. I had the honour of delivering the eulogy at Dad's mother's funeral, my nan, Pearl BOWDEN, or Alice Pearl Cross. Given that was less than 20 years ago, it seems a bit too soon to be farewelling the next generation. And yet, here we are. As I think I said then, we don't get to choose. In that seemingly short time, I've become a father of 2, while some of Dad's other grandchildren have grown into adulthood and started families of their own, or are very close to doing so. Personally, I take some comfort in knowing that a little bit of Dad and his predecessors live on in the generations that follow. In our genes, yes, but probably more importantly in the values we hold and the way we conduct ourselves in this world. I had a very brief footballing career, probably a bit like Dad, playing for Kadina, only amounting to a season or 2 when I was about 18 or 19 years old. Partway through my first year of senior football, I was getting a few kicks, kicking a few goals, and in the second half of the year, I spent the second half of the year in the A grade as Kadina snuck into the finals. I think I'd already moved away from home for work and was coming back weekends. I clearly recall one Saturday morning when I couldn't find my boots. Dad pulled them out from wherever they were hiding and presented them to me. Through the week, he'd taken them up to Norm Jolly, some of you will remember that name, to get a seam stitched or something like that. I hadn't asked him to, and he didn't say anything much about it. He just went and did it, brushing away thanks with a shrug of his shoulders. Like a lot of men of Dad's vintage, and still many today, and probably me amongst them at times, he didn't always have all the right words and all the right order to express his feelings. Often he showed his care through his actions, helping you move house, installing an air conditioner, moving house again, possibly moving house again, or fixing your boots. It was a small gesture, but it conveyed a lot. Over the years we got better at communicating. We had to. I was living on the other side of the country and at times the other side of the world. Children, grandchildren, helped to oil the wheels here too, so much less inhibited than us grown-ups. He still did the practical things when he could, like helping me put together a swing set in our yard on the side of a mountain, while a young Elka waited patiently for it to materialise, with growing impatience. It took twice as long as the instructions said it should, and I suspect I was what was slowing us down. We got there in the end, and he gave her first push on the swing. He wasn't perfect, none of us are, but along the way we have some perfect moments. I'm grateful for them all and can better appreciate this myself now as a parent. I know he was proud of me, whether as an 18-year-old footballer of modest ability or later as a scholar. He was proud of all of us, his children and his grandchildren, despite our differences, or perhaps because of them. Having sprung me from hospital and set me up in relative comfort, on the day before Dad passed, my partner Gerda and our children, Elka and Lucian, called in to see him in Riverton. While it was confronting to see him in discomfort, it also showed that the time was right for him. It wasn't fair on him to ask him to stay longer for our benefit. Thankfully, he didn't suffer for long. As hard as it was to see him like that, that's not how we remember our loved ones. We remember their finest moments, not their darkest. Even in the toughest of times, I'm sure we all have our precious memories, our perfect moments that bring out a smile or a chuckle. Thanks for them all, Dad. May you rest in peace. Bodhi's granddaughter, Elka, is going to read a poem, He Is Gone.
He is gone. You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all the things he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or your heart can be full of the love you've shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what he would have wanted. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent, and thank you, Elka. And sometimes dads are those people that are just in the background doing all those things that we just don't even realise at the end of the day that we finally have something so thankful for, the work that they provided along the way. Now, Les Maynard is a good friend who's bike ridden many a time, and I'm sure he's got a tale or two to tell. Come on up, Les. Now, my description of you is, Les, that you did sailing together, you drank together, you rode bikes together, and you camped together. Is that about right?
That's about right.
About it.
That's about right. Good afternoon. As you've heard, my name is Les Maynard. And over the years, from about 1974, Bodhi and I, on and off, had a lot to do with each other. Firstly, however, to Mim, to Dot and Ruth, to Andrew and Mignon, to Brett and Gerda, to Michelle and Tony, and to Paul, Marg and I, and our family and our neighbourhood group offer our sincere condolences. I have a problem. I got a text message from Andrew to say I could say a few words. But the problem is, how do you only say a few words about a wonderful bloke like Bodhi? And we all have another problem, that in a job long ago, I was a school teacher. And as you probably remember, school teachers only talk for 50 minutes. So settle down and get ready. Thank you to the family for allowing me to have a few words. I met Bodhi at the Sailing Club at Wallaroo in 1974 when he was Commodore. He had a little 14-foot Arrow catamaran, which was in immaculate condition, as everything in Bodhi's life was, and I had a beat-up old Quick Cat, and he used to tan my hide every time he raced. As you've heard, he then bought a Heron to sail with Andrew, but that didn't last very long. In the meantime, I had bought a Stingray catamaran, which was 18 feet long, 8 feet wide, and had a 30-foot mast on it. It was a beast of a machine. And Bodhi, I think, was happiest when he and I were out on that boat, roaring around the bay on that machine. We also took it all over the state in state heats. And we'd head off. His mum would make us a few pasties, and we'd head off to Barmera or to Kingston or somewhere, chomping on a Mrs. Bowden pasty and yahooing as we went. a couple of incidents regarding the Stingray. One day it was blowing about 30 knots and we were sailing down parallel to North Beach, and we were both on trapeze, Bodie right back behind me, and he was yahooing and yelling and shouting as we were flying down. He was happy. We got to the bottom mark and tacked and went back towards the beach, and on the way we came across the rescue boat. And they were upset because they'd been trying to chase us to catch us, to tell us the race had been abandoned, and they couldn't. Another time we had, I can't remember what the breeze was, but the water was dead flat at Wallaroo, and we timed ourselves from the red beacon off of Rosewarne Shack back to the clubhouse. And looking at the chart, that was 2 nautical mile, and it turned out on that day we had averaged 25 knots from the beacon back. Again, Bodie was yahooing and ripping and roaring. After that, we parted company for a short time. I bought a Sharpie. I sold the Stingray and bought a Sharpie, which is a 20-foot boat with a great spinnaker. And I had no experience in sailing those. And I had a few crew. And then I caught up with Bodie one day and asked him if he'd crew for me, because he had experience in a rainbow which had spinnakers, and he agreed. But the trouble is, my ability to sail a Sharpie was almost zero. Bodie tried and help me organise what we were to do, but I kept doing the wrong thing and we kept falling over, tipping over. And poor old Bodie would get a mouthful of water because of sails and ropes everywhere, sort ourselves out, get ourselves up and go. But the main problem was our main sheet hand had 3 crew. Our man sheet hand was subject to seasickness. And after about 2 months of this, Bodie retired. He was sick of being vomited on by our 3rd crew member. We had wonderful times with that Stingray. In fact, when he moved to Riverton, he asked me if I could supply a photo of it, and he had that in his room with him. I think I'd better leave some of the stories I was going to tell you out. We had lots of good fun, but some of us a bit mischievous, and I don't think you want to hear that. Then, as you heard, Bodie had a motorbike. I was working at BP, and this blue BMW turned up, and the helmet came off, and it was Bodie. Luckily, I'd talked my wife and letting me buy a motorbike about the same time. And so he was already in the motorbike club, and I joined. And we had wow of a time. We used to go on motorbike trips to Victoria, Broken Hill. We loved going to motorbike races. We loved watching the MotoGP on TV. He loved his motorbikes. He also loved campfires. Up the back of my block, we've got a space for a campfire. And on any good winter's night, it didn't take much encouragement for Bodie to bob around, sit and tie the fire, tell stories, have a couple of bottles of red and a few beers, and he loved that. We were both national servicemen, and so we had that common military experience. Bodie always said that his national service never did him any harm, and in fact he said it did him a lot of good. He was firmly of the view that all 20-year-old Australians should do some form of national service. We talked, of course, many things military. In the last 10 years or so, there would have been a rut developed in the road between 15 and number 78. Either I'd go and see him or he'd come and see me. There'd be a knock on the door and there'd be Bodie with a bottle of red in his hand, and we'd go and talk. He loved talking about his family, of which he was very, very proud. But he had one problem. As you know, Brett lives in the world of academia, and that is foreign to most people. And it certainly was to Bodie, and he couldn't understand the world of academia. Luckily, I've got two clever older brothers who had moved in that area, and so we talked about that. We talked about lots of things. Lots and lots of things. Bodie was empathetic. He was a great listener. He was cheerful. And Bodie was a very great mate. Bodie, may you rest in the heavenly peace you so richly deserve. Thank you.
Yes, Liz, I do believe you've left out a lot of those good stories that you could have told. I hope over tea and coffee you do tell a few more of those good times. And we can all in the family can attest to Pearl's beautiful pasties that she used to make. So I can imagine you all enjoying those. So some good times, whether it be on the boats or whether it be on the bikes. You've shared some great times. But photos can take us back on that journey as well. And when you look up and you see that picture of Bodie, you know, it's a photo that would just remind you of many times you've shared together in a conversation. So as you look back at the pictures, just remember that they're not just a photo on a screen. They're actually a moment in time that's been captured. So it takes you back on a journey. So let it remind you of the time and the place that you've shared together. Enjoy.
I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive.
I was a sailor, I was born upon the tide. With the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner around the Horn of Mexico. I went aloft to furl the mainsail in a blow. And when the yards broke off, they said that I got killed. But I'm living still. I was a dam builder across a river deep and wide, where steel and water did collide. A place called Boulder on the wild Colorado. I slipped and fell into the wet concrete below. They buried me in that gray tomb that knows no sound. But I am still around. I'll always be around, around, and around, and around, and around. I'll fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side, I'll find a place to
rest my spirit if I can. Perhaps I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain, but I will remain. And I'll be back again and again and again and again and again and again.
I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow now.
You're gonna wanna hold me just like I always told you. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
Nobody here will ever find me, but I will always be around. Just like the songs I leave behind me, I'm gonna live forever now. You fathers and you mothers, be good to one another. Please try to raise your children right.
Don't let the darkness take them. Don't make them feel forsaken. Just lead them safely to the light.
When this old world is blown asunder and all the stars fall from the sky, remember someone really loves you. We'll live forever, you and I. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow now. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow now. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow now.
Setting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Well, go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your lover, 'cause your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun setting down on our town, on our town? Good night. Up the street beside the red neon light, that's where I met my baby on one hot summer night. He was the tender and I ordered a beer. It's been 40 years and I'm still sitting here. But you know the sun's setting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Well, go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your lover, 'cause your heart's bound to die. Go on now my babies and I had my first kiss. I've walked down Main Street in the cold morning mist. Over there is where I bought my first car. It turned over once, but then it never went far. And I can see the sun setting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Well, go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your lover, 'cause your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun setting down on our town, on our town? Good night. I buried my mama and I buried my pa. They sleep up the street beside the pretty brick wall. I bring them flowers about every day, but I just gotta cry when I think what they'd say. If they could see how the sun's setting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Well, go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your lover, 'cause your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun setting down on our town, on our town? Good night. Now I sat on the porch and watch the lightning bugs fly, but I can't see too good, I got tears in my eyes. I'm leaving tomorrow, but I don't wanna go. I love you, my town, you'll always live in my soul. But I can see the sun setting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Well, go on, I gotta kiss you goodbye, but I'll hold to my lover, 'cause my heart's about to die. Go on now and say goodbye to my town, to my town. I can see the sun has gone down on my town, on my town. Good night. Good night.
Well, thank you. Did you put that one together, Andrew? Who put that one together? Brett, you put that one together, didn't you? Thank you, Brett. That was wonderful. There were some great photographs in there that certainly took you back. And they took you back to a tea party that poor Bodie had to sit through with his sisters, I could see there. He didn't look impressed in one of those photographs, but I'm sure he enjoyed being spoilt by his big sisters. So there are plenty of family times, there are plenty of friendship times that you've shared together, those days on the bike, the good times that you've shared, the days on the water, the days playing sport together. But the family times, you could see that smile and the pride that he had in each and every one of his family members. And as the family grew, that smile got bigger as well. So look back at those photographs often. I know this is being recorded today, so if you've got somebody that hasn't seen it, then perhaps they'd like to watch in later and just be reminded of all of those photographs. They brought back happy memories for me of a wonderful childhood and a beautiful family that had been together. So at this time, I'd like to thank you all for your love, your support that have been passed on to the family at this time, and that support that has been given to Bodie from the Riverton Aged Care as well. That meant a lot to know that he was well looked after and well supported. But at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we come for a time of a formal farewell. So I ask, if you're able, if you could be upstanding at this time. So Allan Charles Bowden, we have gathered together today to bid you farewell. We say thank you for the life that you've shared. We'll treasure your memory, your words, your works and your character. We'll be forever enriched for having known you and having you in our lives. So your kind and generous nature we commit to our memories. Your love and your friendship is committed to our hearts. Your body is now committed to its nature's end. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Rest now at the end of your days and in the arms of those who have gone before. Thank you. You may be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Well, in Bodie's honour, I hope a little bit later today you can open a bottle of that red wine. I know, Les, you might open one today. And just, raise a glass to a good mate and a good friend in Bodie and the relationship you shared with him. But Andy Warhol wrote a little piece and it goes, "The idea is not to live forever, but to create something that will." Now, Bodie created a legacy that will live on in his friends and in his families. So cheers to Bodie and to the memories that he leaves in each and every one of us. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It has been an honour to share this day with you and the family today. But I'm going to ask Andrew to come forward just to bring our service to a close today. Thanks, Andrew.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Miriam, Andrew, Michelle, Brett, Paul, their family, extended family, I'd like to thank you all for the love and support you've shown by your attendance here this afternoon to say farewell to Bodie. I invite you to come forward after the family to pay your farewells, and then we're all heading into the Moston Paul Lounge at the other end of the building for light refreshments, and a chance to celebrate all those lovely memories you've seen on the slideshow and talk about all those lovely stories that Les told us and bring those memories back to life. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the service here for Allan Charles Bowden today. I thank you for your love, support and attention, and I ask you to all please stand as we come forward to pay our respects. Thank you.
You know, a dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows, and the dreamer's just a vessel that must follow where it goes, trying to learn from what's behind you, never knowing what's in store, makes each day a constant battle just to stay between the shore. But I will sail my vessel on till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Many times we stand aside, let the water slip away. What we put off till tomorrow, it is now come today. So don't you sit upon the shoreline and say you're satisfied. Choose to chance the rapids and dare to dance that time. I will sail my vessel, sing it with us, till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, I'll never reach my destination. No, if I never try, I will sail my vessel until the river runs dry. There's bound to be rougher waters, and I know I'll take some balls. With the good Lord as my captain, I can make it through them all. And I will sail my vessel, here we go, till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will save my vessel till the river runs dry. Lord, I will save my vessel till the river runs dry. Sometimes late at night I lie awake and watch her sleeping. She's lost in peaceful dreams, so I turn out the lights and lay there in the dark. And the thought crosses my mind, if I never wake up in the morning, would she ever doubt the way I feel about her in my heart? If tomorrow never comes, will she know how much I loved her? Did I try in every way to show her every day that she's my only one? And if my time on earth were through, she must face this world without me. Is the love I gave her in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes? 'Cause I've lost loved ones in my life who never knew how much I loved them. Now I live with the regret that my true feelings for them never were revealed. So I made a promise to myself to say each day how much she means to me, and avoid that circumstance where there's no second chance to tell her how I feel. 'Cause if tomorrow never comes, will she know how much I loved her? Did I try in every way to show her every day that she's my only one? And if my time on earth were through, she must face this world without me, is the love I gave her in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes? So tell that someone that you love just what you're thinking of if tomorrow never comes.